I was going to say, but I have a cold. Yes, sure, why not? So I'm going to tell a story instead. It's a story from Norse mythology, and I'm going to ask one thing that everybody will use all their Marvel-based Norse assumptions at the door. Very incorrect, 0 out of 10. So, this is one of my personal favorite Norse myths, and it's the story of the one time Thor, maybe from a certain point of view, didn't have everything go his way, if you interpret it that way. So, Thor and Loki, good friends, they're going to visit a Jotun, a giant, named Utgardsloki. And Utgardsloki is supposed to be a huge giant, and Thor and Loki are just off on this adventure to go and find him. So they stop at a peasant's house for some dinner, and obviously the peasant isn't equipped to feed Thor, but Thor's, ready for this, so he slaughters one of his goats, and he tells them that if they don't touch any of the bones, wrap him in the skin, he can revive the goat in the next morning, which kind of implies that he does this a lot, which must be rough on those goats. But anyway, so one of the peasant kids, his name is Fjaldi. So Fjaldi gets a little greedy and decides to break one of those bones open for some of that sweet, sweet marrow. So when Thor resurrects the goat in the morning, it has a lame foot, and Thor is enraged. The peasant's like, please take my son as an offering, which, okay, kind of quick to jump on that bandwagon, but all right, he didn't even be like, well, maybe. He was like, no, take my son. So Thor, Loki, and Fjaldi continue on their way, and they stop to rest the night in a very large cave. And they wake up, and they see this huge Jotun. Now, Jotuns aren't like the giants that we think. Jotuns are an average Jotun is between 8 and 10 feet tall. But this Jotun is 20, 30 feet tall. He's huge. And he says, I see you spent the night in my glove. And Thor's like, okay. And he's like, that's great, I have food for you. If you can just open my bag, it's in there. And Thor tries to open the bag, tries, but he just can't get it open. So he gets frustrated, and he's hungry, and the day passes. And things get worse when at night, the Jotun, whose name is Skrimir, so Skrimir snores like anything. And Thor gets all upset and hits him on the head with Mjolnir, his hammer. And Skrimir, not only doesn't he die, he wakes up and asks if a leaf fell on him, which is really offensive to Thor. So Thor does that a couple of times, none of it works, they don't get any sleep. And Skrimir, when they wake up, Skrimir goes, well, if that's all that the mighty Thor has to offer, I'd suggest not bragging to Utgardsloki because, well, he's even bigger and stronger than I am, and he likes people to prove himself when they come to his castle. Now, Thor and Loki are not quitters. They're like, okay, we're gonna do this. We don't care if it's not a wise decision. Let's go. Odin isn't here right now. So they get to the castle, the huge fortress of the Jotun Utgardsloki. And the door's way too big for Thor to open. It's a giant door, 80 feet tall. But they can just slip through a little crack in the wall, and they get in, and there's Utgardsloki. It's a giant throne. And Utgardsloki goes, so, the mighty Thor, and the sly-tongued Loki, and some farmer kid. So they're all like, yes, we're here. And Utgardsloki is like, well, I have all my guests be exceptional at least one way. What do you have? And Loki, not Utgardsloki, Loki, says, I am as fast an eater as any. So Utgardsloki sends him to eat against the also confusingly named Loki, not to be confused with Loki or Utgardsloki. So there's Utgardsloki, Loki, Loki. Okay. So Loki and Loki eat, and they meet in the middle, and Loki thinks he's won, because he's cleared all the meat off of his bones, but where Loki has cleared the meat off of his bones, Loki has also eaten the bones and the table. So Loki wins that one. And then the kid that they picked up says, I am an incredibly fast runner. I am the fastest runner that I know. And he says, okay, sure. So he sends him against this runner called Hugin. And Hugin beats him by enormous amounts every time, although they do agree that he's the fastest runner they have in a while. Finally, they get to Thor. And Thor is like, well, I can drink anyone under the table, because what other challenge would Thor volunteer for? So Utgard's Loki hands him this massive drinking horn and he says, well, I can finish it in one swig, most of my men can finish it in two, and no one is pathetic enough to need to take 3 swigs. So, he kind of like grabs it, and he drinks and he drinks and he drinks, and he looks at it and it's barely dipped down. And he gets really angry. It takes the biggest chunk he's ever taken in his life. And he comes up and he's like, I did it. And he looks down and it's severely diminished, but by no means empty. And Utgard's like, okay, so I can see that maybe you need to do something a little more your speed. How about you try picking up my cat? So Loki goes to pick up his cat. But you know when you like try to pick up a cat and it just seems like it gets longer? So he does that, and Loki has it Thor, this is Thor. Thor has it like over his head, and only one of the cat's paws is off the ground, and it's kind of chilling. So he puts the cat down, and he's very upset. He is fuming, he's so angry, he's like, give me someone to fight! So he's like, okay, here, I'll have you fight Grandmother Ella. And Grandmother Ella is this like old lady, she's this decrepit old lady. And Thor's day goes from worse to absolutely horrible when she completely beats him. He puts up a good fight, but she completely beats him. So Utgard Loki looks at them and is like, okay, you know what, you guys can stay. So they eat, they sleep, they party, they drink a lot. And the morning comes and Utgard Loki leads them out of his castle. And then he looks at the 3 of them, he looks at Thor, who's still kind of like really bummed. And he says, look, never come back to me again, you guys are way too powerful, you almost ended the world. And everyone's like, what? So, Utgard Loki is a renowned trickster, and he's a really powerful illusionist. So he was Skrimir, the giant the Jotun that they found in the forest, and he cast an illusion so that when Thor thought that he was hitting Skrimir's head with Mjolnir, he was actually hitting nearby mountains, making huge squared-off valleys in the mountain range, permanently changing the geography of the region. So Utgard Loki's like, okay, whatever, this guy's under control. Loki, the Jotun which Loki raced against in the eating competition, was a wildfire. Hugi, the Jotun that the farmer boy raced against, was a thought. No one can run faster than a thought. But things really went south when Thor got the drinking horn. Now the drinking horn was connected to the ocean, and Thor severely lowered the water levels, creating a few new islands and beaching a couple hundred whales. So then he's like, that was the first time that Loki was like, I think I'm in over my head. So then the cat that Thor tried to pick up was the Midgard serpent Jormungandr, who is the serpent that surrounds the entire plain of Midgard and is Thor's sworn enemy and is prophesied to like swallow him during Ragnarok. Long story short, the fact that he got one paw off the ground almost ended the entire world. And then the old lady was old age itself, and so the fact that he could put up that good of a fight made Utgard Loki so scared. He was like, okay, you guys can stay. And he said, don't ever try to find me. I will cover my castle with an illusion. You can never find me again. Don't find me again. You're terrified. And that's the story of the one time Thor kind of, maybe sort of, didn't get things his way.